faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Ain't nothing like a victory Sunday, especially when you beat a team that is in the playoff conversation, the Atlanta Falcons. Shout out to Atlanta Falcons. Hey, they played as good as they could, but they hadn't played a defense like the 49ers. And the 49ers did what we had to do. We won at the line of scrimmage, and I think that's definitely what separated us in this game. We got to win up front, and that's definitely what the 49ers did on both sides of the ball. With this victory, it leads us to 8-6, and we're playing our best football in the time that matters in December. And I do have a special guest on my show today. He goes by the name of 49ers First Takes. Make sure you check him out. All his social media links are in the description of this video. And of course, he has his own YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. Give him a subscribe. But let's bring on 49ers First Takes. What's good? How's it going?
What's going on, man? I'm going. It's going good. That was a nice win. Little nervous in the third quarter, early fourth, but Niners needed to do what they needed to do to shut the door on those guys, and they did it. So happy, man. Can't really complain about much. I got one complaint, but I'll save it.
Okay, all right. We'll definitely have to bring.
I'm trying to be positive.
No, I dig it. I will definitely bring that up because it wasn't a perfect game. There are definitely some things that needed to be, there's definitely some things that we can improve on. I mean, the first play of the game. I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw that JaMycal Hasty with the fumble, man? What were your thoughts?
Here we go. We're going to beat ourselves, a team that we should be whooping, a team that you should go out there and pretty much dominate, take care of, and you're going to give the game away. That's what I thought it was. I was like, it's going to be one of these kind of days, ain't it? But after the two kickoffs, things settled down a little bit. So I'm, like I said, I was pretty positive. I don't have much to pick at this game. And then coming from me, Jay, that's I could always pick on something. Yeah. I'm always the glass half empty type of person, but that's just my personality.
Yeah, totally, man. And shout out to everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook, Jay in the Bay YouTube, Jay in the Bay Twitter. It's always a much better experience when we have the MVPs, as I like to call them, in the chat, rocking out with us. Let's say what's up to the people in them comments. Let's see who we got first. We got Rams House. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Rams House. I know you're happy that we won that game tonight against some good old ATL Falcons, man. I hope all is well for them LA Rams for you. JR Meadows, what's good? Hey, I agree with you, JR. I think you had a similar score. I think JR might have said 31-13 Niners, I think. He wrote a comment on one of my videos. But, yeah, man, JR, you were right. And I agree with you, JR. I just thought we were the better team. We had more playmakers. We were playing better. In the last 5 games, we're 4-1. I just thought we were the hotter team. Yeah, and JR Meadows says he called it 31-13. I think you did. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Let's get it, GA. What's good? He says, "What's up, my brother? Y'all beat the brakes off of us." Yeah. I kind of had
it was a harder beat the brakes off. It wasn't like easy because it's like we work for everything in this game, man.
Yeah.
Like for every 2 steps forward we took one back with like a penalty or Ambry Thomas getting roasted every other, anytime they needed a big play. But yeah. The score doesn't dictate that we were still in the mid-fourth quarter, still trying to close them out. You know what I mean?
Right. And I thought the Falcons would score at least 20 points because I thought they would get a touchdown or 2 in the fourth quarter. But I thought for the most part we were in control of the game, and I think that showed. Obviously, we had the turnover and we had several penalties. What did you think? The penalty that stands out the most to me is the Arden Key sack. I mean, what was that?
Yeah, he was diving to try to get on the guy. You know what I mean? Like the guy was kind of away from him, so he was making like a diving tackle, and it just happened that when he dove, he got a hold of him and just kind of landed. The referee that does the stuff from Fox, I forget his name. Everybody knows who he is. They went to, yeah, he said it was bogus. They shouldn't have called it. He's like, what are you supposed to do? So, but I was telling everybody on Twitter, again, coming from a negative guy like myself, I was like, all right, they missed that. We're still a better team, like, let's go out and, win this game, and like, don't let one penalty unravel everything. So I was happy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what what else is he supposed to do? I mean, you just want to bear hug him and don't bring him to the ground. I mean, Matt Ryan is attempting to get away from Arden Key. Arden Key has to lunge after him. I know the refs want to emphasize they don't want the defender to land hard on the quarterback or whatever, but I don't understand. Arden Key, he's probably 260, 270. What else do you want him to do to bring him down the court, to bring down the quarterback? But as you said, you got the right mindset. The 49ers did not let them, let that penalty hold us back, and we still took care of business. You mentioned earlier Ambry Thomas. What were your thoughts on his game today?
He's not real good right now. He needs work, he needs the reps. He needs to have what's happening to him happen to him. Unfortunately, that's the only way you're going to learn.
Right.
But he needs to be coached up. He definitely needs to be coached up in the off season. Technique wise, just everything. He's like, the bump game isn't real. I guess that's what kind of corner he is. He's more of a bump corner, but he struggles with the bump. He's always in the trail position. He doesn't jump for balls. I mean, it's everything. It's tough. I saw Mayoka, or one of those guys, the 49er beat writers that are, say everything nice so that they get called on in the press conference. That he wasn't having that bad of a game. And I responded, what game are you watching, bro? Every time they need a play, they go to Ambry's side. So it's okay right now with Atlanta being who they are, but hopefully if we make it into the playoffs, Emmanuel Mosley can find his way back, because we definitely miss him for sure.
No, absolutely. Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons, they took advantage when Kyle Pitts was lined up outside the numbers. When Kyle Pitts was in the slot or at tight end, Jimmy Ward was there. And I don't think Matt Ryan threw the ball when Jimmy Ward was on Kyle Pitts. He didn't want to do that. Obviously, Jimmy Ward is much better, much more experienced in covering receivers. But Kyle Pitts, he's definitely, an up-and-coming tight end. The guy is 6'6". He's going to have an advantage over whoever's guarding him in most situations just because of his height. And then you add on his speed. And Ambry Thomas, he just, he's a rookie. That's what I chalk it up to. He's a rookie. He's taking his lumps. And these are just growing pains. And let's be real.
He missed a year or two. He didn't play last year too.
He didn't play last year, right?
He needs what's going on right now to happen to him. He needs to learn. Deion Sanders wasn't Deion in his first year. I've watched a lot of Niners highlights from back in the day where Deion was getting smoked by John Taylor and everybody else. So it takes a while. I'm not saying he's going to be Deion. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just I would like to see Lenore get in there too. I know maybe they're just saving them for depth because, we're so thin. So off topic question to you. Sure. You think the Niners make a play on the Vikings corner that just got cut? He's been having a rough year. I forget his name.
Breeland?
Brashad Breeland. Somebody was telling me he's been getting toasted. So I would be for it, just for another body. As far as counting on him. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't see why not. We should at least bring him in for a workout, because we can't do any worse, right? And with this pass rush, the secondary's best friend is the pass rush, and I'm sure he'll play a lot better behind this defensive line compared to Minnesota. And Minnesota, they're a pretty good defensive front as well. But let's be real, I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are really in the playoff hunt anymore. Obviously, the Niners, we are, so maybe that would elevate his play, and he would be around much better players. Let's be real. So, I would definitely take a flyer on Brashad Breeland, bring him in for a workout. What do you got to lose? But going back to Ambry, he's a rookie. He's got to take his lumps. At least we know what he needs to work on. He knows that. D'Amico Ryans knows that. I think Dante Johnson, I think he was out there too. And as you mentioned, I would like to see more of Lenore, but it seems like Shanahan, that's a good thing. Good question. I don't know. Does Shanahan decide on the defensive side of the ball who starts? Or I'm sure he just takes his. If D'Amico says, "Hey, I want Lenore to start opposite of Norman," is that the final say so, or does Shanahan have the final say so? Because
I would love to know.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Yeah, because
we would definitely, if we were media members, we'd have to ask.
Right. Because Lenore, he had been getting more snaps. I mean, Ambry Thomas wasn't even seeing the field the first half of the season. He was in on a few special teams play, but other than that, he hadn't really been seeing the field. And then all of a sudden, he starts at corner opposite of Norman. Granted, Dante Johnson was out, so that's part of the reason why. But honestly, both rookies, they need to work, and I don't mind seeing either one of them in there.
Definitely.
I don't want to forget the people in the comments. Let me say what's up to the people in the comments. NYCE, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, what's good, EJ? What a good game. What's up, First Takes? NYCE, I agree with you, man. The Arden Key, penalty was bogus. Definitely agree with you on that. John, what's good? He says, key to the game, Arden Key sacks. Yeah, Arden Key, this seems like it was his breakout game.
I saw that all over Twitter.
Yeah. Over the last month or so, he had, he's played the best within the last 4 or 5 games, no doubt, as far as his sack
this year.
Yeah. So Arden Key has been a welcome addition, especially since D Ford is out. Samson had a sack today, so that was good to see. And Bosa had the strip fumble sack. So that's to me is my number one factor in this game, besides the 49ers offense just doing whatever it wanted to do. The 49ers won up front on the offensive line and defensive line. Matt Ryan did not have any time to throw. And it was a beautiful sight to see. And guys, he had no time to throw. And also there was no one open a lot of the time. He had to throw away the ball or he had to scramble. So what would be your number? What would be your thing, your hat you like to hang on? Why the 49ers won this game?
They played complementary football. You know what I mean? The offense did its job when it was on the field for the most part. A couple long drives to get them into the end zone. They capitalized. I think they capitalized off the fumble strip sack by Bosa that turned into a recovery on our side. I think we scored on that drive, but it was just Bosa said it in his press conference that the Niners are best when they play complementary ball, which means, holding the ball on offense, but scoring when you get the chance and running the ball effectively, because everything is based off our run game, even though I think the last couple of weeks, I think we've been passing a lot more, but Jeff Wilson Jr. had a great game, over 100 yards. And that just helps the defense. They get them rested. And the way how physical our offense plays with the way Debo and Kittle and everybody are so damn physical, it pumps the defense up. I saw that question again in the press conference. They asked Fred Warner and they asked Bosa if the physicality of the offense inspires the defense, and he said it does. So it's all about playing complementary ball. And since the Niners have been winning on this streak, that's what they've been doing. In the games where they beat themselves is really the only reason they're losing. I mean, they have some flaws. I mean, I think their secondary is their weak spot right now, and their special teams. Those 2 spots on this team, if we do make it in the playoffs and we end up exiting at some point, I think those are the things that might be our Achilles heel. I notice it even when we do good. I'm like, man, if they could just tighten this and that up. So, but complimentary balls, I think, what the reason we're winning. So keep doing it.
I would agree. And speaking of the 49ers special teams, I don't know about you, but if Robbie Gould misses a kick, I'm not blaming Richard Hightower. When Michael Hasty fumbled the kickoff, I'm not blaming Richard Hightower. I don't know how you feel about that, but these are professional players. Sure, it should be instilled into them ball security. I mean, it's kind of something you don't have to say, but I'm sure the coaching staff does say it. Don't beat yourself with penalties. Don't beat yourself with turnovers, and take care of the football. So when Jermichael Hasty fumbled, I'm not blaming Hightower. I'm blaming Jermichael Hasty, and he did it twice. So can we get a kick returner? Is there anyone on planet Earth that can return kicks for the 49ers?
Man. I'll be honest, my biggest issues in this game were our special teams. I think I heard Shanahan in the press conference say that our kickoffs and our punts didn't do very well. Mitch Wisnowski has been pretty subpar this season. His kickoffs are abysmal. He gets no depth and no hang time. Constant guys getting a running start, coming out and getting like to the 35, 40-yard line. And that's all based on how high he kicks it and how far he kicks it. I thought this guy was drafted for having a leg. I don't see it. His punt, that one punt he had today that only made it to like midfield and had 4 seconds of hang time. I mean, between that and just the kickoff coverage in general, that and the corners are really the biggest Achilles heels on this team, because you figure if we just stay healthy, you see all the other parts working and they're working good. And it's like those two things to me are, every time I watch the game, it's like, damn, a good team's going to get us on that. So, I don't know. Hopefully they can clean that up with the last couple of games of the season left to go.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Mitch Wisnowski, I guess you just continue to practice. I don't know how else he can get better at that. I mean, it seemed like he was doing better earlier on in the season. So I guess he's just got to continue to practice at that. As far as the kick return, just don't fumble the ball at this point, because I just don't want it to be a turnover. Fortunately, that play did not come to bite us. I think it did a little bit because of field position, and that's kind of an underrated aspect of the game. But let's go back to that sequence where Hasty fumbles the ball. The Falcons are in great position to score, and the 49ers get a stop. What did you think about that?
I watch games. I watch games I don't get as crazy as after the Super Bowl loss to Kansas City. I'm a lot more just, kind of watch it, and I don't really get too excited. But that defensive stop, it kind of creeped up on me. I got pumped up for a bit. I was like, oh, okay. So don't get too emotional. But yeah, that was good. That was, I feel like we kept stopping the momentum from switching. Like every time Atlanta might have had some momentum, we snatched it right back away from them. And that's a good sign for this team. And I'm very encouraged that they're playing this well this late in the year. Regardless of where they go and what the outcome of the end of the season is, this team is showing so much resilience. And really, this team, when they lose, they really beat themselves. So, I was pretty encouraged by that defensive stop. It got me going. And then the fact that they did it 2 more times. I mean, what can you say about that? There's 3 defensive goal line stands. I mean, that's just incredible. Yeah, I was pretty pumped, not gonna lie.
Hey, I completely agree. And you're right. The Falcons had 5 red zone opportunities to score, and they only converted on 1. So that's impeccable defense. I mean, you can't really ask for a better performance than that. And I got to be honest, when the Falcons had the ball after that kickoff return, I was just hoping that we could hold them to a field goal, honestly.
Field goal, yeah, me too.
I just thought they were already in a hole. But yeah, the Falcons play calling was interesting, especially the throw to Lee Smith, who's, he made his money in this league by blocking, and he went out for a pass, and Kyle Pitts was a blocker on that play. I don't know what was going on with that, but I'll take it. But the 49ers defense has been playing great, only allowing 13 points to this Falcons team, and we just got to continue to keep it up next week in Tennessee. NYCE says, what's going on with Lenore? I think he's a better corner than Arby. Yeah. I don't really know. I don't think Lenore played any defensive snaps. At least I didn't notice. At least no one threw his way.
Either.
Yeah. So at this point, it seems like either D'Amico or Shanahan are right now riding with Ambry Thomas at that cornerback spot opposite of Josh Norman. and that's just kind of is what it is, unless there's an injury or until Emmanuel Mosley comes back, and hopefully he comes back sooner than later. JV, what's good? You are too kind, man. He says my two favorite 49er YouTubers streaming together. That's a massive W, man. I appreciate that, man.
I thought he was saying we were a massive W, but I'll take that too.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. What's good? Dan Castillo. He says Tart used that hit stick on Matt Ryan on that third goal. Yeah.
Matt Ryan got punished in this game.
Yeah.
Did you see one of those sacks? I think it was the one. I forgot who hit him. I might have been Bosa or somebody else. Man, he was getting up and like looking around for flags. Like he was the Niners. Yeah, I like that. That's what I want to see.
Might have been Arden Key's sack where he sacked him, and then as Arden Key was taking him to the ground,
put your hands up. Yeah,
exactly. Because I think Matt Ryan might have hit his offensive lineman's leg, and his head went back. Like, it was that. Yeah, that was a tough hit. But yeah, Matt Ryan, he just was never comfortable in the pocket due to the 49ers pass rush. And honestly, I didn't even see that much blitzing. I don't know if you saw, but they got home with their front four.
For some reason, their front four, even though when they don't get there, I feel like they've been getting good push. I don't know if you noticed that too. Like even when they don't get there, I feel like they're moving linemen off their spot and moving them backwards. So, he's a veteran. He's able to step up in the pocket. He stepped up and avoided some Bosa sacks around the edge a couple times. But man, it's been rare for me to watch a game and not have a lot of complaints in a long time, especially with everything that's been going on in my life. I'm always usually the pessimist. So I was like, man, damn, Jimmy played really good. And I got nothing to say about this dude. So.
Right. And speaking of Jimmy, let's talk about this 49ers offense. Jimmy G, I'm going to put up his stats up on the screen, but Jimmy G, he had an efficient game. I mean, you can't really ask for much more. Let's go to Jimmy's stats. Let's see. So
I got to figure out how you do this.
I'll show you. I'll show you. But yeah, Jimmy, he was 18 of 23. That's efficient. He could have been even more. He could have completed even more passes, but Jennings dropped at least 2 passes, I believe. So,
and I think Debo dropped one as well.
Okay, so yeah, and I'm not sure what the other 2 completions were, but 18 of 23, he threw for under 25 completions or 25 attempts, 235 yards, 1 touchdown. Hey, I'll take that every game because that means we're able to run the ball. That's what that means. Jeff Wilson Jr. got more carries in this game. That was a sight to see. I welcome that. He had 21 carries, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, and Debo added in 6 carries. So this offense controlled the game from start to finish, and that's what I thought would happen.
Yes, they did. I completely agree. This was a breath of fresh air watching this game. The Niners, I gotta say, Jay, pretty loaded on offense with skill position players right now. With Jennings coming into his own, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. These guys can stay healthy, man. Oh man, we might not win the Super Bowl, bro, but we might piss somebody off and beat somebody they ain't supposed to be beaten early and send somebody home a little early this year because the Niners play with such physicality, man. I don't know if people want that smoke sometimes, man. So again, I'm like rarely positive like this. This game had me very encouraged. So hopefully they can take this into this Thursday for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's great to see. I love to see that you're positive, man. But I think it was pure execution today from a 49ers offensive standpoint. We won at the point of attack, and the Falcons couldn't slow down the run game with Jeff Wilson Jr. or Debo. There were receivers running wide open. Jimmy was able to hit his targets. He threw a tight window pass to Kittle. Kittle got blown up a little bit, but man, I mean, you can't really ask for a better performance from Jimmy. And Debo pitched in, Ayuk, Jennings. Hey, Juice check. Hey, he had a fullback dive, scored a touchdown. So it was just a picture perfect performance. And speaking of the Falcons offense, coming into this game, their bread and butter is Cordarrelle Patterson. He is the jack of all trades running back. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball. And if you look at his stats, man, he had 11 carries, 18 yards. His longest run was 4 yards. I mean, that's making the Falcons offense one-dimensional. I mean, that's just an incredible performance tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm totally. I have nothing to say. I'm rarely speechless.
No, I mean it was a pleasure to see, and honestly, this is the game I anticipated. I thought we'd be able to slow down Patterson, and they're only, I think they had another receiver. I think it was Gage. Let's see. Yeah, Gage was the leading receiver today for the Falcons. He had 11 targets, 8 catches, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. He played pretty well. But other than that, there was really no other playmakers for the Falcons offense. No one else.
I feel like if Ambry wasn't playing today, they might not have scored any points, to be honest with you. Just being honest. Yeah. I mean, that's really who gave up everything in this game was Ambry Thomas. So hats off to the rest of the guys for doing their job. And like you said, man, these are the games when you are better than a team. You need to beat them, and the Niners took care of business. It's not like some big extraordinary feat that they did. They're just doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm very, very good. I'm good with that. I mean, and they didn't just barely slip by these guys. I mean, they beat them by a good margin. So like I said, I'm pretty satisfied.
No, I completely agree. I like how you said that. A team is in front of you. You're clearly better than. Just beat them. Come out with the right intensity.
Don't beat yourself.
Execute your game plan. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. And beat them, because we know the Niners are clearly a better team than the Falcons. What's good to Blue True? Blue True says, congrats on the win, Niner Empire. Blue True says, no umbrella tonight. That's right. No umbrella tonight. No, it rains, it pours tonight. So that's always a good thing. John, what's good? John says, one thing, our run D, Cordarrelle was bottled up most of the game and forced the Falcons to pass. Absolutely. We made the Falcons a one-dimensional offense, and that helps our pass rush. They don't have to worry about taking down Cordarrelle Patterson. They can just focus on Matt Ryan. John also says the deep pass is our weak spot, but our goal line stands were legit. Exactly. No, I would agree. And Pitts, as we talked about earlier, when he was lined up in the slot, Ryan didn't go to him. But when he was lined up outside the numbers against Ambry Thomas, let me ask you this. Do you wish DeMeco Ryans would have adjusted? Like maybe when Pitts goes outside the numbers, maybe double him? Because that's where Matt Ryan likely was going to go majority of the time. What do you think about that?
I feel like he did I feel like he did the right thing by kind of just keeping things the way that they were.
Okay.
Because anytime you tilt your coverage to one way, you make another spot on your defense vulnerable. So the Niners pretty much played straight up.
Yeah.
And we're trusting their pass rush to get home more times than not. And for the most part, even when they didn't get sacks, they got pressure. A lot of the plays that were big that were given up, like I said, they were on Ambry, but everybody else, for the most part, didn't really give up squat. I don't remember Josh Norman giving up too much, except for that deep touchdown. Or that was it a touchdown or was it like a first down that got like a first and goal? That was the one where I think might have been Norman.
Yeah,
or I'm not exactly sure who it was who got behind who, but it was somewhat of a blown coverage.
I think that was Josh Norman. But it was earlier on in the game, and I really didn't see them really go after Josh Norman, which is kind of surprising. But I feel like this 49ers defense is more of a bend but don't break. Like they'll allow some passes over the top, but they're really hard to score on. And we saw that definitely in this game. NYCE says K1 made some plays out there too. First take is right. We play a complete team game, and if we keep it up, we will be a hard team to beat. Oh, and when Juice scores, we win. LOL. I think other teams in the playoffs will be intimidated to play the Niners. Why? Because we can run the ball. We're physical up front. And we got a pretty good defense. We can get after the quarterback. Those are, obviously our secondary is our weakness, but we can do those three things pretty well. Play physical, win up front, and get after the quarterback. We'll always be a threat. There's no doubt about that.
Agreed.
Let's get into, we talked about Ambry Thomas. We talked about Cordarrelle. Jeff Wilson Jr. had a pretty good game. I was a little surprised he got as many carries as he did because, since he's been back, I think this is the third or maybe fourth game he's been back, Jeff Wilson Jr. And when Elijah Mitchell is able to play, Jeff Wilson Jr. doesn't really see the field as much. But with Elijah Mitchell being out, Jeff Wilson Jr. got the bulk of the carries. He played pretty well, 20 carries, over 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Debo added in a little bit, but were you surprised Jeff Wilson Jr. got the amount of carries he did, or par for the course? What do you think?
I feel like Jeff Wilson Jr. is one of those guys, but the more you give him the ball, the better he gets. He has a different running style. He's not as explosive with speed. He's more of a power back that makes nice cuts and gets upfield and punishes people along the way. And I just think his running style, you need to get him going a little bit. And as he got going, I feel like he got better as the game went on and wore on, and the defense didn't want to hit him as much. And I feel like, who knows, maybe this will kind of give him, a spot in Kyle Shanahan's mind that, like, hey, listen, instead of just running Elijah Mitchell into the ground like they've been doing, let's go with a 1-2 combination. You got your Thunder and you got your Lightning. So to me, I felt like like I said, as the game wore, he played better. And I just feel like the Niners, I don't know, man, Kyle and these guys have been pressing all the right buttons lately. So yeah, I'm glad that Jeff Wilson got as many touches that he did. And hopefully now when Elijah comes back, they can split carries and we can have a nice 1-2 combination.
Yeah. And I was glad to see Jeff Wilson Jr. out there. I'm glad that he was productive. He kind of struggled a little bit, but as you mentioned, I should say he struggled a little bit in the earlier games that he came back. But as you mentioned, he gets better as he gets more touches. I have a feeling though, when Elijah Mitchell comes back, and fortunately, Elijah Mitchell, he's no longer suffering the concussion symptoms. It seems like his knee is swelling up more than anticipated. That's why he didn't play in today's game. But hopefully we'll have Elijah Mitchell back. But I would just be surprised if Elijah Mitchell comes back healthy against the Titans on Thursday night. If he's 100%, I just don't anticipate seeing Jeff Wilson Jr. be 50-50 as far as the carries ratio in this game. I just have a feeling that Shanahan's going to ride the hot hand.
Even if it's 2010, like if they just, give 20 carries to Elijah. No, I know. Yeah, I know. Shanahan's one of those people, when something's working, he'll run it into the ground.
Do it to death. Do it to death. Right. I think it'll be like 25-5. That's what I see.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. They should divide it up more. You're helping out Mitchell. He's taking less pounding, because let's be real. The knock on Mitchell is, hey, he gets hurt. He's missed a lot of games this year. So.
Yeah, he's not a very big guy.
No.
He's a smallish back. He's thickly built, but he's pretty small. So.
No, exactly. Niner faithful, what's good? Let me put the comment up on the screen. When the season is over, John, please fix special teams along with the secondary. I think we know, regardless of what happens, playoff, Super Bowl, whatever, got to address the cornerback position, draft, free agency. That needs to be basically the number one priority on this team. Hopefully, with the draft picks we do have, the offensive line, we won't need to make any significant additions to the offensive line. I don't know how you feel about that. Do you think there need to be major additions to the offensive line in the offseason?
I was on Rob Shue's show yesterday, and we had a list of like priorities for the offseason, and I think offensive line might have been third or fourth.
Mhm.
Rob seems to think that the Niners are kind of stick with who's there and maybe address, some depth that I told him maybe depth at right guard tackle, like somebody who can play both. Because he thinks McGlinchey's going to come back and, maybe Aaron Banks ends up, doing well enough in camp to possibly solidify that right guard spot. And then of course you're going to have Alex Mack for one more season. You have Trent Williams locked down. The only person who I'm worried about and Rob was worried about is Laken Tomlinson, because I think he's a free agent this year. So if they can, add a little depth to the offensive line, maybe bring in a KG veteran that's not expensive to maybe help with the right guard, right tackle kind of situation. I don't see them spending too much resources on that. I think the secondary is the number one priority past, Jimmy moving on and Trey, taking over. I think the secondary is our biggest Achilles heel. We just, it's going to look a lot different. I can't foresee Verrett coming back. I feel like the Niners need to figure out a way to get healthier and get younger and get more athletic at the corner position. So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't see him coming back.
I agree with Rob. The offensive line, the Niners drafted Banks in the second round. I mean, he has to be the right guard next year. I don't think you can draft another player in his
can't redshirt him 2 years in a row.
Exactly. You can't do that. Banks, this is your job to lose. You have to win this job. You mentioned McGlinchey. He had the injury. He's out for the rest of the year, but he signed his franchise tag, so he will be back with the Niners next year. So he'll be there at right tackle, and Mack will be back. So, yeah, as you mentioned, Laken Tomlinson, hopefully we can bring him back. He's been I would say above average left guard. And
hasn't given up any sacks this year.
Hey, he can't play any better, right? Hopefully his price tag won't be too steep for the Niners. I know we'll have some salary cap to play with Jimmy G gone, and the salary cap, will be increased next year. But I don't foresee any major additions. Obviously, as you mentioned, the secondary's got to be number one priority. I know basically the only players who are under contract after next year is Jimmy Ward, the rookies we drafted, and I believe
Emmanuel Mosley.
Emmanuel Mosley, yeah, he's got 1 year left. But other than that, I don't know if we'll bring Tart back. Man, that guy's a warrior. I thought he would be out for the rest of the game. And then he came back, made a
him and Bosa both scared me, and somehow they both came back.
Yeah.
So far this year, I mean, we've had some guys go down with injuries, but we've also avoided the serious injury bug this year with some star players. So knock on wood, that continues, because when a lot of our good players are playing, we have some elite level guys on this team. Like the Niners, say what you want about the secondary and the special teams, 49ers have some elite talent on this roster. Kittle, Debo, Bosa, Warner, Trent Williams. I mean, they man. They're doing good. You know what I mean? So knock on wood that this continues, man, because when they're clicking, they look pretty tough to beat, to be honest with you. And I never thought I would say that. So
wow.
I'm so positive right now. It's just so stupid.
Wow.
I've had people unsubscribe to me or go into other people's chats and be like, Aaron's negative. I left this channel. So hopefully they'll come back.
The 49ers have clearly made an impression on Aaron, aka 49ers First Takes, man. And hopefully the Niners can continue this win streak against the Titans on Thursday. Sean Tuber, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. He says, hey, Jay, what's good? 8-6, baby. And he also says defense was on point. Let's go Niners. Absolutely. Seahawks Eddie, what's good? Thanks for tuning in, man. Hopefully your Sunday night is going well. J.R. Meadows says that Pitts for the Falcons is going to be a problem, a.k.a. the second coming of Megatron. That's
6'6".
Yeah.
4 point. I think he's got like a 4.2 or 4.3 40. He is a humongous athletic specimen. Would love to have a guy like that on his team.
No, absolutely. He will be a problem. He's a mismatch nightmare every time he's on the field. And the Falcons, they've got their tight end as long as he can stay healthy easily for the next decade to 15 years, however long he wants to play. Sean Tuber says the high ankle sprain that Mosley suffered is a 4-week injury. Mosley should be back for the Texans, hopefully. I mean, it's a short week. This is a quick turnaround. The game is in Tennessee. We got to fly out there. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. I haven't really seen too much of the Tennessee Titans this year. I have to, look to see what they do well, what they don't do well.
From what I heard that wide receiver used to play in Atlanta,
Julio Jones.
I heard he left the game today, some issue.
Wow.
And he might not be available Thursday. So the way I look at it is this: if the Niners can win the next couple games, if they can improve their standing towards like maybe the last game of the year, I wouldn't even, like at some point I wouldn't even worry about bringing back certain people. I would just, rest up or whatever, and then get ready to go on the road for your wild card game if we make it. So in a way, I hope the Niners can take care of business against the Tennessee Titans. This is a game I think a lot of us, including you and me, when we did our predictions, picked the Niners to lose just because it's a short week. You're thinking you're going against
Derrick Henry,
the running back, Derrick Henry. So who knows? Maybe the Niners. To me, it looks like a game that could be tit for tat. Like the Niners might need to score as much as they, because I feel like it's a road game, and Tennessee's still a pretty damn good team. So this is gonna be a tough test for sure.
No, I completely agree. And yeah, Julio Jones really hasn't been the same. I don't think he's been a very productive player for the Titans. The Titans also have AJ Brown, but I don't know what his health status is. So we'll see. We'll see what the Titans do well on Thursday. That's for sure. Gotta talk about Jimmy G real quick. We know he had an efficient game. I saw this on Twitter earlier tonight. Is there this is blasphemy for me to even say this, but is there a quarterback controversy next year? Is there any, what needs to happen for Jimmy G to be the starting quarterback next year? If anything, is that even possible?
The only way Jimmy comes back is if Jimmy takes a team discount, because they have only like 30 some odd players under contract going into next season. They need to sign like 20 some odd players. You got to sign your draft picks. I don't see financially how you could bring Jimmy back. Somebody said if he wins a Super Bowl, he stays. If he wins a Super Bowl, why would you keep him? Because in my eyes, you got what you needed out of him. Now let's play the rookie. So you would have the most value if he won the Super Bowl. Why would you keep him? As much as I have been on Jimmy this year, he has played pretty damn solid. He still makes those gaffes where he keeps both teams in the game for certain parts of the game, but he didn't do that today. And so I'm going to give him his props, because I don't usually give Jimmy props. I usually get into it with people who, when they call him Jimmy sexuals or Jimmy stands, they give me a hard time, but I got to give him his props today. He played as efficient can be. And that sounds kind of like, oh, wow, it sounds like a game manager, but he made some big boy throws today. So I have nothing bad to say about Jimmy Garoppolo, but no, there's no way, Jay, he can come back next year and be the starter. It has nothing to do with his play. It just has to do with the amount of guys that they need to re-sign,
Absolutely. And it also has to do with number 5, who's waiting behind him, and all the draft capital that we gave up. And I still don't understand why we didn't ask him. Well, we'll never know. But we could have. Why didn't we ask him to take a pay cut this year? Like, when
I don't understand that.
Yeah,
everybody else is taking pay cuts, but you can't ask Jimmy. That to me,
right?
Yeah,
I don't understand why you don't ask him. He's been hurt a lot. What leg does he really have to stand on? I mean,
right? His play's been erratic at times.
Yeah. But during the last 6 games, we are 5-1. Jimmy's played a pivotal part in the team's success. There's no question about that. But I think we know his days are numbered. But I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there's any way, even if he wins a Super Bowl, you trade him. That's when his value is the highest, and we know he's not the future. So, Dan says Jennings is stepping up. That's another offensive weapon for Jimmy. Absolutely. I don't think it would be a stretch to say he's the next Kendrick Bourne.
He has Kendrick Bourne vibes, but he's bigger. He has what I like in receivers personally. Me and my brother are both fans of bigger bodied guys like your T.O.s, your J.J. Stokes. When we had, I forgot who else was here. Ahani Awazake, I think it was back in the day. There was a while where the Niners had at least 3 receivers that were over 6'3", 6'4". I just like bigger body guys in traffic. I like bigger bodies guys in jump ball situations or when you need a big clutch, catch to get a first down. So he has a place on this team. He's definitely he looks like a slower but bigger Kendrick Bourne, if that makes any sense. He doesn't get a lot of separation, but whatever.
And one thing that's kind of underrated, but you have to do in a Shanahan offense as a wide receiver, you got to block. And he's been doing an exceptional job at that blocking. He made the block early in the game to free Kittle. I think it was I don't even know what type of route you would call that. It was almost like a screen pass. Kittle caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Jennings made just a little bit of a block where you don't get a penalty for it, and Kittle ran for 25 yards. So, and Jennings, he is very, very good in the run game, and that's something you have to do if you want to play wide receiver in a Shanahan's offense. That's for sure.
Definitely.
David, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. CG Ruthless Sports, what's good? CG Ruthless was at the game today, and hey, there's nothing like attending a game and the 49ers win, man. There's nothing better.
That must have been sweet for sure.
Job, what's good? Job says, nice win. The Colts beat the Pats, so we both get a dub. Congrats to your Colts, man. They beat the brakes off them good old Patriots. I think it was 25-0 or something like that. Colts played really well.
No, I think the Patriots ended up scoring about 17 points. I think they won 27-17.
Okay. So they came back. Okay. Clearly I didn't watch the game. But I know the Colts.
I have the Sunday ticket, so I have all the games going on at the same time all over the house on Sunday.
Cool. Celts Chronicles, thanks for tuning in. What's good? He says, great team win, aggressive and strong. Yay! Absolutely.
Yay! Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm feeling too.
NYCE says Norman got behind Zakosius for a first down. Yeah, that was the play we were talking about earlier when Norman got beat. And fortunately, that did not, that Falcons didn't score points, I don't believe, on that drive. So
I'm so impressed by the defense today. I can't even explain it to you.
Great minds think alike, Celts. Let's see. Yeah, we really don't have an idea. I don't know if you have any other information on that, Aaron, about Mitchell. Do you think he'll be back against the Titans?
I heard from Trent Green in the broadcast that he might play this Thursday. There's a possibility. We'll see.
Yeah, and obviously we'll definitely get more information on that as the week progresses. I would imagine he's got to practice or at least be a limited participant. If he's not, I would imagine he doesn't play. I got to mention there were some guys who, were out of the game today that didn't really make a difference, right? Aziz missed the game due to an elbow injury. Hopefully he'll be back against Tennessee. Obviously Elijah Mitchell was out. Am I forgetting any names? I know Maurice Hurst is out, but he's been out for multiple weeks. Dre Greenlaw, same thing. So hopefully we'll get some guys back, and that'll help us in the Tennessee game.
Yeah, Contavia Street played well. DJ Jones played well. We don't even miss freaking Javon Kinlaw right now. I saw that on Twitter, and I was like, I can't say that I disagree with that. I'm not even trying to hate. You know, Jay. Sometimes it, like you say, it's a meritocracy, bro. It's about who gives you the best chance and who makes plays. Doesn't matter where you drafted.
I tend to agree with you, and I love that word, a meritocracy. But this guy's a first round pick, and it's not like it's not like he's underperforming when he's out there. It's just that he's been hurt. It's kind of like the Jalen Hurd, but it's not even that, because at least Kinlaw has been out there for, I guess you would, he's been out there the bulk of his career. This has been the year where he's been out the whole season. But Kinlaw, I mean, if you add Kinlaw into the mix,
right,
his defensive line only gets better, you know?
Right. I'm not saying he's a scrub. I'm just saying they don't necessarily miss him. Maybe in the run game, sometimes they do with the push they can get. My whole thing with Kinlaw is it's kind of like the D Ford situation. The Niners had info on him coming out of college that he had this issue with his knee. He has like chronic tendonitis or something. It's a condition that is never going to go away. And they still drafted him anyways. And it's kind of like the D Ford situation. You had all this info, you have all these medicals, and you still pull the trigger. And then you have egg on your face because now you're not getting those dividends paid because the guy's never on the field. So hopefully he comes back next year, you know, and just plays and keeps his mouth shut, doesn't talk to the media, acting foolish. I was getting a little irritated with him this year, like getting like contentious with the media. It's like, dude, you're never on the field, man. What do you have to say?
I gotta say, a hot diggity dog, Blue Chew. I appreciate that donation to the channel. Thank you very much. You know, Javon Kinlaw's book is still being written. There are still chapters being written in his book. He still has, this is what, his second year with the team?
Right.
Like I know sometimes people, I'm not saying you, but sometimes people are just so quick to say, oh, this guy's injury prone, get rid of him. That's just not how the league works, especially when you draft a first round pick. But I was going to say about Javon Kinlaw, and the 49ers knew about his medical history. For whatever reason, the 49ers think, oh, once you get in our system, we got the best doctors in the world. And we can just sprinkle some gold dust on you, and you don't have to worry about those injuries no more. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know how they can even think that with the amount of injury this squad has had over the past couple of years. But you are right, though. It's like, I'm not even trying to say that the dude is not going to be a good pro or that he's not going to come out next year and kill it. I'm just saying, as of now, they're not really missing him.
Right.
Because other guys are stepping up. That's
right.
where I say meritocracy. It's people you didn't expect. It's just people coming in and playing really well, stepping up when their number is called. I mean, I heard Fred Warner talk about, you know, and even you've said it before, and I've kind of rolled my eyes, the whole next man up mentality.
Next man up, baby.
It does. I mean, eventually, if you run out of good talent, it doesn't really matter. But really, it really has been that for the majority of this year, especially in that interior defensive line. DJ Jones has played well.
Yeah.
Contavia Street has played well.
Armstead.
Arden Key has played well. Armstead has played well. I mean, I'm a hard to please individual, man. And I have been pleasantly surprised on this little run that we've had the last 2 months. So keep it up.
I love the next man up mentality because, you know,
it just shows the depth that we have.
It does. But every player in the NFL isn't Tom Brady. Not every player is going to play 15, 20 years in the league. Every player, when they step on the field, that's their opportunity to shine. A lot of the defensive linemen on the Niners, they're on 1-year deals. There's no guarantee they're going to be back, but also they're auditioning for other teams. We're not going to be able to keep all the guys we have. So as you mentioned, guys are stepping up into that Javon Kinlaw role, and they're performing. And hopefully we can keep as many of the guys we can. But this defensive unit definitely will, and I think you agree with this. This defensive unit will be stronger if Kinlaw is in there and he's productive.
Yes. Then we'll have a lot more depth, and we can rotate, and guys can save their careers by not being out there all the time. So who knows?
Exactly. Celts Chronicles. If Jimmy is the quarterback in a Super Bowl win, is he the starting? Oh, I thought that was a statement, not a question. But yeah, we talked about that, and I think we both agreed. I think Jimmy is gone regardless. Yes. Andre, what's good? He says, what's good, Jay? Sunday, my favorite day of the week again. Let's keep this going so we have some happy holidays and a fun January and hopefully February. Hey, man, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit, man. You never know. Any given Sunday. We got Tommy Huxley in the building. What's good? Man. He says, Julio Jones is hurt. Okay.
Yay. Right. Sorry.
Hey, that makes the game maybe just a little bit easier on Thursday. Payo time. What's good? You know we're feeling good, man. You know it. Damn KD right. is in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in, man.
Man, I've seen him. He's been one of on my channels. I've seen him for years since I've had my channel. Corey Davis.
Yeah.
He's been around.
He's a loyal subscriber. Shout out to KD. He also does his NFL picks on his YouTube channel. So shout out to you.
Oh, he KD. Has a channel his own. Yes. I got to go look that up.
Yes, sir. Yeah, check him out. And for those in the chat, make sure you leave a thumbs up for the video. And if you haven't, make sure you follow 49ers First Takes. All his social media info are in the links in the description of this video. Let's see. Just Vibes. I might have started a controversy here. He says, if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl, I don't think the 49ers can move on from him, because if they move on after him, after winning it all, and Lance doesn't work out, it'd be a terrible look for SF. It would, but that's the chance the Niners are going to have to take. Because
it's financially, this isn't a question of do they want to or they don't want to. It's a business. It's a financial decision. They have to move on from him. They can't afford him. There's just no way. Then it means you can't sign like a secondary. You can't sign your draft picks. Like it is what it is. This isn't like this isn't an anti-Jimmy sentiment. Me and Jay aren't hating on him. It's just a matter of business. Yeah. You got to pay your bills, man. You got to have enough money to pay your bills, you know.
but you mentioned the meritocracy, and if Jimmy wins a Super Bowl, I mean, there's a fine line. There's a meritocracy, but then there's what's best down the road. What's best is, as you mentioned, for the salary cap. I would love to be in that situation. We win a Super Bowl this year, Jimmy G. Hey, you're the MVP, whatever. But I still wouldn't be surprised if the Niners let him go, or trade him, I should say. That's for sure. Niner Sickness is in the building. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. Let's see. Just want to see if there are any other. Let's see. Niner Sickness says Javon Kinlaw will be a beast in 2022. Some of you will eat your words. Hey,
I hope I do. Yeah. I hope I do eat my words. I do. I really do. I hope he is a beast next year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I was wrong about Kittle calling him Glass Man this year, and people were like, "Oh, you need to eat crow." I'm like, I'm eating it, dude. I love the taste of it too. I'm happy to be wrong. Sometimes I say things like that to just like get people going. You know what I mean? I like to stir it up.
No, absolutely. You have to do that sometimes. And Kittle has, he's been getting hurt, but Jimmy G has been a part of that. He's been definitely a huge reason in that. We can't look past that. Corey Davis, I appreciate the donation. Hot diggity dog. He says Cardinals fans are upset they lost to Detroit. I would be upset too if my team lost to Detroit.
Detroit is cheeks, man. They are cheeks, and they lost them. Whew.
That's only their second win of the year, and are the Cardinals unraveling right before us?
My brother never was completely
so
convinced, and he's a Dolphins fan. He's like, I just have a feeling, he goes, the Cardinals are going to be one and done in the playoffs. Like they'll get the number 1 seed and then they're going to lose. And you kind of get that vibe.
Yeah.
But maybe we're wrong. but I'm just saying it definitely, I get that Baltimore Ravens vibe from them for sure.
Well, D-Hop is out. There's a possibility he could come back in the playoffs, but it seems like they may have peaked, at the wrong time. They're not playing their best ball right now in December, and that's kind of when you need to play your best ball. But we'll see, man. We'll see. They still have the best record in the NFC West, and they could still end up with that number 1 seed and get a bye in the playoffs. Huge shout out. Much respect to Big Low Country Sports, Atlanta Falcons fan. He was on, we had a live stream earlier this morning, and look at him saying, good game to the 49ers. Much love from a Falcons fan. Huge shout out to you, Big Low Country Sports.
I love cool fans like that, man.
Much respect.
Yep.
Let's see. Celts Chronicles, he's comparing Steph Curry to Javon Kinlaw. Celts Chronicles says, look at Steph Curry's ankles a couple of years there. Fans wanted to trade him. I'm not saying Kinlaw will have a Curry impact, but give the kid a chance. I agree. I mean, I don't think the 49ers have any other choice. They're going to have to, ride with Kinlaw. You don't get rid of first round picks like that. You just don't.
I just feel like the Niners, like I said, other people have been stepping up. So, we're not missing them. But to say that I want him off the team or like I want him gone, I want him to come and play some meaningful football next year and help. Absolutely. Everybody is another piece to that, that team that could help us, eventually do what we need to do.
I completely agree. Celts Chronicle says Jimmy could be a part of a Super Bowl winning team. I'm finally a believer, Jay. Wow. That's a lot for Celts Chronicles because he's been saying, hey, we need to start Trey Lance from day one, and I respect his opinion. But Jimmy, hey, when Jimmy doesn't turn the ball over and he's efficient, he's a damn good quarterback. But I agree with Celts. We're in a great situation. There's no doubt about it. Niner Sickness has a question for the faithful, the Niner Empire. He says, is this game against the Titans a must-win game? What say you, First Takes?
I feel like every game right now is a must-win game for us until we lock up a playoff spot, to be honest with you. You never want to think like, oh, if we got to lose one game, it's got to be the Tennessee game, and, we'll take care of the other ones. You never know what the Rams are going to look like their final game. They might come out and, beat the brakes off us in their own place. You just don't know. We don't know. So like the Niners been saying in their post-game press conferences and stuff and their press conferences during the week, take care of the game that's in front of you, man. And that's it. That's all you worry about. And then you worry about the next game after. So right now, the Niners' sole focus should be getting their bodies right for the next couple days and then going into Tennessee and, softening the blow for where they might end up if they make the playoffs. The quicker they can get it done, the better. If the Niners can't improve their seed at some point in the last couple games, then maybe they can rest some people. I know that's not, some people don't like resting people, but I feel like just win it now, get it, go out there, beat Tennessee. And, and that's just one step closer to where we want to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. And looking at the 49ers schedule at Tennessee, that's going to be a short turnaround in Tennessee on a Thursday night, 2 days before Christmas, and then at home against Houston, and then at SoFi Stadium, one of the most expensive stadiums ever built, to face off against the Rams. I would say we should win at least 2 of the next 3.
Yes.
And
I think we're capable too.
I agree.
I think we're capable.
Absolutely.
You have to take care of business, Jay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There should never be a mentality of like, we're going to take this game off because, if we're going to win, if we're going to lose one, it's going to be this one. No, don't ever have that mindset. Like, win them all. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's what Beto's saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't want the players to feel that way. Like, well,
right.
We're going to, like, no, freaking, right. They can't afford. The Niners put themselves in this position by doing what they did earlier in the year, by not winning games and beating themselves. So every game means something. And I think you get the best football out of teams when every game has an impact. You know what I mean? You get like playoff level football. So I'm all for it.
Hey, I completely agree. First takes. We've reached an hour and 5 minutes. Do you have time for a few more minutes, or you got to head out?
Sure. No, I'm
Okay.
good. I'm not working right now, so I ain't going anywhere.
All right. So we'll continue with these comments. David
My back's
says,
just a little rickety though. That's all.
David says, and it's a big if Jimmy G helps us win a Super Bowl, then we can get more draft picks out of him. I completely agree. Plus his salary.
It's a business move, man.
Right.
This ain't a personal vendetta. I think for a lot of us, some people just like hate the guy. I don't hate anybody. I just, we as 49ers fans have expectations of greatness at quarterback, and we have a certain level of expectation. And I know I grew up during the Montana era, and the Steve Young era. That's just my own personal taste and expectation. Not everybody grew up during that era, so they don't know what it's like to have a Hall of Fame quarterback at center under center. So not saying that's what Trey's going to be, but they drafted him for a reason, and eventually the Niners are going to have to see what their investment is,
Completely agree. And I think we will find out next year when Trey Lance is under center. Huge shout out and a hot diggity dog to Kelts Chronicles. Your daughter is
fired today, bro.
Yeah. Kelts Chronicles says my daughter
awesome.
Today for her 12th birthday. Happy birthday. Decided on her own to give blankets to the homeless. She inspired me today. Man, that is a wonderful blessing that your daughter decided to do that. And I appreciate you sharing that with us tonight. And thank you for the donation to the channel, man. Appreciate that.
Definitely.
Let's see. David Yang is in the house tonight. What's good? David says our front four right now with Bosa, Jones, Armstead, and Key/Sampson is coming on. We should be feared by everyone if we get into the playoffs. What say you, First Text? What do you think about that?
I agree. It's all about staying healthy, though. We got to get through these next 3 games relatively unscathed. This, even like I said, even when we weren't getting to the quarterback today, we were still getting good push. So I'm definitely inspired by what I saw. So yeah, David Yang, I totally agree. But it's all about health at this point. This is a freaking rough and tumble type of season, man. We're like avoiding the serious injury to a lot of our great players. So hopefully that continues.
Hey, I completely agree. And I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, hey, the 49ers will be a team to fear in the playoffs. Why? We're physical on both sides of the ball. We can get after your quarterback, and we can run the ball. So we're always going to be in games. That's for sure. Shout out and a hot diggity dog to Tommy Huxley. I appreciate that donation, man. Aaron and Jay in the Bay, the dynamic
Thanks, Tommy.
duo. I like
even
that,
though
man.
I don't get nothing out of it.
I appreciate that, man. It'll come back to your First Text for sure.
One day when I go back in live stream on my channel. It's going to be a while, though, for sure.
Hey, man. And you're always welcome on my channel, man. And I thank you for coming out tonight. APW Sports, what's good? He is a Chicago Bears fan. Thanks for tuning in, man. He says the Niners running game is something serious. I agree. And we don't have arguably our best running back there. So,
right.
I think we definitely have a formidable front and a formidable running game. That's for sure.
One of our best running backs is one of our best wide receivers, too. That's what's scary.
Absolutely. Uh-oh. Tommy says, Beto, Kinlaw's knee is a bust.
I freaking love Tommy. Oh,
Tell me how you really feel, Tommy. I mean, I'm choosing to be optimistic, and hey, he's got the surgery. He's going to rehab. He's going to strengthen that knee, and he'll be ready week 1. I mean, that's what all we can really hope for. He's going to be under contract 3 more years. So,
Yeah, I'm not giving up on him either. I just I'm kind of one of those, and I know my nephew's the same. I'm more of a what have you done for me lately kind of guy. So whoever's playing is the person that's in my thinking. And it's not that I don't care about the players that are not playing. These games all mean so much. So I'm not really focused on any of that. I'm just focused on the dudes that are contributing. You know what I mean? So hopefully he does come back, and hopefully his knee is not a bust. But I mean, his knees had some problems coming out of college, but apparently they went in, they really did some really good surgery and fixed up a lot of stuff. So hopefully he comes back better than ever.
That's what we're all hoping for as 49ers fans. Niner Faithful says when Kinlaw comes back, I would use him as a rotational piece behind DJ and hopefully Arden if we bring him back, so we can lower the chance of him getting hurt again.
Agreed. That's exactly what my mindset is too. You need depth though in football, man. You need rotational pieces. I wish we had another edge rusher besides Bosa. You know, Arden Key's great and everything, but an actual dynamic pass rusher.
Like two Bosas.
Yeah, like two Bosas. Him and his brother. Me and my brother are like, yeah, watch them both get hurt if we had them both. I'm like, I know, right? So we'll just have one. 15 sacks on the year, though, man. What can you say about that?
Amazing. He's definitely in the running for Defensive Player of the Year and Comeback Player of the Year. That's for sure. Gotta say, what's good? And a hot diggity dog to KD. I appreciate that donation to the channel. What are we going to do with D Ford? What's your take on that?
Time to go.
Yeah, I believe
it's been real.
I believe the Niners, even if we cut him post June 1st, I think that's when the Niners will have the least salary hit on the cap. But I think I want to say it's around $5 to $7 million. I don't know if you want to accept that cap hit with a player that's not there. Would it be in the Niners' best interest to keep Ford but not really expect much from him?
I think I forgot, man. It was Robert talked about this yesterday. He looked up all the figures and everything, but if the Niners cut him before, if they cut him before June 1st, they're going to have to pay him money that they don't have.
Right.
So they're still going to have to pay him once he's gone, but they're going to save around $2.5 million post June 1st. So it's going to be an interesting. It was David Lombardi had an article about it and kind of explained everything.
Yeah, looking at D Ford's contract right now, it's pretty confusing, KD. I mean, we're in 2021. His cap hit this year was $8.9 million. His dead cap was 18. So I guess if we cut him, that's what we would owe him. But next year, it looks like his cap hit is $11 million. So yeah. Basically, if we cut him, we're still going to owe him a significant amount of money next year.
But and they'll have a savings of about $2.5 million if they do it, though.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
So they'll save 2.5, but what will they owe him?
Right. Could I tell you? Can I say this? I don't want to, promote someone else's stream here, but
sure.
Rob Shue has if somebody wants to watch, Corey, if you want to go watch Rob Shue's stream with me last night, somewhere within that stream, he had all the information in front of him, and I let him do it because I'm horrible with math. He kind of explained the whole breakdown of the D Ford situation. I couldn't explain it to you if I tried. So, and I'm not trying to crap on you, Jay. I'm just, we covered it yesterday and it was like super complicated. So I let him do it because it was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty confusing. Even looking at the contract notes, D Ford has an interesting contract. He has a very, there's clauses in the contract. Hey, if you get injured, this is what we owe you. If you cut before June 1st versus after June 1st, there's all these different figures. But I wouldn't be surprised if D Ford is on the roster next year. I don't know if the 49ers want to incur a cap hit of, I believe it's anywhere from $3 to $7 million, I believe. But I'm sure we'll get more information on that, KD. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you, but I wouldn't be surprised if D4 is on the team next year. I wouldn't be surprised by that. If he gets cut
either.
Yeah, if he gets cut post June 1st, okay. But I wouldn't be surprised because what I noticed, Shanahan, they don't like to admit they made a mistake, right? They don't like to admit that. I was surprised Jalen Hurd was cut, right? I mean,
me too.
Wouldn't it have been nice if Hurd was cut at the original 53-man roster cutoff date and we kept Wayne Gallman? Like that,
or
that
the
would have
linebacker
been,
from that we sent to Denver.
Hey, him too.
Played pretty well.
Exactly. So, but we'll see. We shall see what happens. I mean, in D Ford's, if you look at D Ford's stats this year, I mean, he was productive when he was out there. It's just that you can't depend on him being out there, even in limited time.
Right. I mean, they even limited him, and he still broke down. So,
right. Yeah, he played 3 games. He had 3 sacks and a forced fumble, and 5 total tackles. So, he's been decent.
People are like, what is Aaron doing?
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm not going to stay on too much longer, but obviously this is a hell of a win for the 49ers, getting to 8-6. Now we got the Tennessee Titans on the road. For those that haven't checked out 49ers First Takes, obviously check him out. All his social media links are in the description of this video. And for the folks that don't know Aaron, aka 49ers First Takes, what can they expect from your channel in the future?
In the future, once things kind of in my personal life get back to normal, I will go back to live streaming. As of now, a lot of my content will either be pre-recorded or uploaded videos, or I'm going to go on other people's channel and be part of a live stream. I'm just dealing with some stuff, mental health stuff. I'm trying to take some time out of work, and so it's not really a good look to be streaming on my channel if I'm not working. If you guys understand that, I hope you can. But yeah, I'll come on other people's channels. I'll definitely be part of other people's live streams. I'll try to upload videos where it's just my voice usually. I like to upload clips and other things, but once everything gets back to normal, I'm going to have, I like to regularly live stream at least twice a week. I usually like to always collab. I feel like collabing is where I'm at my best because I can bounce things off somebody else. It's a lot more fun. I feel like when you talk to the camera for yourself for about like 15, 20 minutes, you start to get like, oh man, I'm running out of stuff to say. So at least when you have somebody else, you can kind of, yeah, right now things are a little weird on my channel, but yeah, you would see a lot of live streams, post-game reactions, breaking news, off season. We do a lot of, pre-draft coverage. We'll do some post-draft coverage. We'll do during the draft coverage. We'll probably do some stuff once the off season hits and we start going into mini camps, just like this past year. That's when I started to do this. So, a pretty regular streaming schedule. Once I figure out what's going on in the other parts of my life, I will be back and better than ever. I appreciate you having me on, Jay. Even though I kind of like almost begged you if I could come on. Thank you. I needed to interact with the people again. I missed it. So
absolutely, man. You are always welcome on my channel, man. I appreciate your insight because I feel we do differ on certain topics. So it's always good to have the yin and the yang.
It is.
So it's always a pleasure to have you on. I'm sending positive vibes your way, and hopefully you continue to get healthy, man. And it will be an interesting offseason, that's for sure, because the 49ers content will not slow down. If anything, it may even pick up because of all the changes that could happen in the offseason. So
definitely.
Yeah. So you have a great rest of your night, Aaron, and hope the best for you. And we'll be in touch soon. Of course.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Jay. Thanks for having me on, and everybody here. Have a good night. And Beto, yeah, I'll definitely come on your channel anytime. See you, everybody.
See you later, man. All right. So that was 49ers First Takes. Make sure you guys check him out on his social media. I'm going to continue on with these comments. Niner Sickness says, Celts, what awesome. Your daughter has a gift. Yeah, that was very generous of your daughter to think of that on her own and give back to the needy, man. Very, very nice of her. JV says, Joe Montana or Steve Young, who's better? I mean, statistically, and if we're talking about Super Bowls, there's no doubt Joe Montana was better. I know someone else in the chat would feel otherwise. But honestly, when I first started watching the Niners, Steve Young, I think he only played maybe a year or two with the 49ers since I started watching them when I was like 98. So I saw like the tail end of Steve Young's career. But hey, two Hall of Fame players, two of the greatest 49ers quarterbacks in our history. So you can't go wrong with either one. Blue True says, your daughter is an MVP. David Yang says, hopefully we can shore up that special teams. They have been struggling. I agree. That is one of our weakness, the special teams and the secondary. APW Sports says, even with the departure of Robert Saleh, the Niners defense is still a feared defense. Defense travels late in the season. The Niners are scary right now. I completely agree with you. We can get after the quarterback. The secondary is our weakness, but we can get after the quarterback, make him feel uncomfortable in the pocket. I mean, you saw it, APW. Matt Ryan, he had no time to throw, and there weren't any receivers really open. And the Falcons offense suffered, and they weren't able to really score. Tommy Huxley says, Aaron, we miss your live streams, my guy. You have my full support. Absolutely, man. 100. Let's see. Minor sickness is funny. Let's see. Tommy Huxley says Ford is going to retire, in my opinion. I guess we'll see what comes to fruition. David Yang says both Arden and DJ are unrestricted, so it's going to be tough to bring them both back. Yeah, I mean, they're going to want a significant pay raise, and I think hopefully we can bring both of those guys back next year. Let's see. I agree with you, Tommy. I don't think D Ford will be cut. I don't think the Niners want to take that pay, that dead cap hit on the salary cap. I just don't think they'll do that. I'd imagine D Ford to be back next year, and we should only use him as a third down edge rushing specialist. That's it. Hey, enjoy that movie, Niners Sickness. It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorite Christmas movies. Hot diggity dog, man. Enjoy that movie, man. Let's see. Shay Martinez, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. I know you're happy for that 49er victory. Let's see. Appreciate you coming through, NYCE. He says, Jay and Aaron, great show, fellas. Have a great rest of your night and go Niners. Same to you, man. Appreciate your contributions in the stream tonight. Let's see. Minor Sickness says he's moved on from Ford already, like an old girlfriend. Livy's World, what's good? Livy's World says, great stream, Jay. Sending good vibes to you, First Takes. Happy holidays, everyone. Same to you, Livy's World. Hope all is well in your hood. Let's see. I would agree with you, Shay. Jimmy G is playing pretty well during this last 6 weeks, and hopefully he keeps it up. And shout out to everyone who was in the chat tonight. Appreciate everyone if you're watching on Jay and the Bay, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Had a lot of super chats tonight. I appreciate all the donations to the channel. We had Corey Davis, Celts Chronicles, Tommy Huxley. Corey Davis had another super chat. Blue True. And I believe that is it, but I appreciate all the contributions to the Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. I will have a special guest with me on Tuesday morning. He is a Tennessee Titans fan. We're going to talk about the Niners and Tennessee Titans or the Niners and Tennessee Titans game on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully you guys can join me and we get a perspective of a Tennessee Titans fan and how his team is doing. And of course, we'll preview and predict the game. That's what you can expect from the Jay and the Bay YouTube channel for the rest of the week. And the game is on Thursday. I believe this is our first Thursday night game this year, I think. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see because Thursday it's a late night. The game ends at 8:30. We'll see what happens as far as the pregame and the postgame. But definitely tune in for that Tuesday interview with the Tennessee Titans fan. And that way we get an insider's perspective on the Titans. Let's see. NYCE says, Jay, before I go, what do you think will happen with Verrett next year? I would be surprised if we bring him back. Unfortunately, he's missed more games than he's played. I know he's not going to be able to garner a ton of money because he's coming back from a torn ACL, but I think we should move on. I think we should move on from Verrett, even though I know, hey, he's going to be a bargain, but do you really want to invest in a player again who has, he's coming back from the torn ACL? I just don't think the Niners will do it. Actually, I'll say this. If I was GM, I don't think I would do it, but I could kind of see the Niners doing it again because they're like, hey, we can get a discount on this guy. It'll be a 1-year deal. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners did that. But for me, I would not do that. David says, go Niners. We need to turn the Titans into hobbits. That's pretty good. Well, everyone have a good rest of your Sunday night. Thanks for tuning in to the stream tonight. Niner Sickness says Nick Bosa is a Chevy Silverado and D Ford is a Ford Pinto. That's cow. Well, everyone have a good night. I appreciate everyone in the chat. It was a lively chat from the MVPs tonight. I appreciate that. And I will see you guys again. If there's some 49er news, you can definitely tune in to Jay and the Bay. Other than that, I will see you guys Tuesday morning. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. 49ers are now 8-6, playing our best football in the month of December. And, hey, that's what you need to do. You need to continue to win. You got 3 games left in the season, and then it's on to the playoffs. Let's go, Niners. See you guys in the next one.